Welcome to this latest Go Power educational video covering the 3 general wiring configurations for mobile power systems. Wiring in series, parallel, and hybrid. This information should help you determine which wiring configuration would be best for you. First, we will go over wiring in series. This configuration is generally used in smaller systems with an MPPT controller, as they can accept higher voltage and require less expensive wiring. So if cost is a consideration or possibly limited space for panel mounting, this could be a good option for you. Wiring in series requires connecting the negative terminal on the first panel to the positive terminal on the next, and for each panel added thereafter. This configuration results in a voltage that is the sum of all of the panel voltages in the series, and conversely, the total current will be equal to the output current of a single panel. In this example, we have 2 panels each with the following values, 20.8 volts and 9.6 amps. So we would have a voltage of 20.8 times 2, or 41.6 volts, and a total amperage of 9.6 amps. The following shows the wiring setup for an added battery and optional inverter. Next, let's look at wiring in parallel. This configuration is generally used with PWM controllers in 12-volt systems featuring multiple panels. It does require more expensive wiring, but can also work with smaller to mid-sized panel arrays. To wire in parallel, you connect the positive terminals of each panel to a positive wire feed and the negative terminals to a separate negative wire feed. The resulting current of wiring in parallel is the sum of all panel amperages in the array, and the total voltage is equal to the output voltage of a single panel. So in this example, the total current is 9.6 amps times 2, or 19.2 amps, and the total voltage is 20.8 volts. Again, the following is the wiring configuration for an added battery bank and optional inverter. Now, we will look at hybrid wiring. This is the more uncommon wiring configuration and is often used for larger systems to keep within acceptable amounts of amperage and voltage. If you have 4 or more panels, you can wire 2 each in series, and then those 2 sets can be set up in parallel. Note, you must have an even number of panels. Again, here's the wiring configuration for adding a battery bank and optional inverter. In summary, these are the things to keep in mind when deciding which wiring configuration would be best for you. Shading conditions. Sometimes you can't avoid parking under trees, and these can cause issues with shading. If you have wired in series, this could affect your array more than if you have a parallel wiring configuration. With series, if shade affects one panel, it will affect the rest, reducing the ability of the panels to gather energy. With parallel, if one panel experiences shade, it will not affect the rest of the array. Type of charge controller. As mentioned previously, series and parallel configurations work with either an MPPT or PWM controller. Temperature of your location. Wiring in parallel will produce more heat. The reason for this is due to the currents that run through each branch. They are independent of each other, which means the current in a parallel circuit is higher than the current through each resistor in a series circuit for the same total resistance and voltage source. Low irradiance in the morning or evening. This refers to the voltage drop that happens when the sun is rising or setting. In this instance, the solar controller is what we would focus on for benefits. In a series installation, the charging algorithm of an MPPT solar controller allows for more energy to flow into the battery throughout early and late sun hours. Voltage drop. Again, this would benefit from a series connection due to the factors explained previously. And finally, the thickness of the wire. Cost can definitely be a limiting factor in how you decide to install your solar array. When wiring in parallel, the wiring is thicker and thus more expensive. Keeping all these points in mind, we hope this helps you decide which solar wiring installation is best for you. For more information, please visit gopowersolar.com/panel wiring options.